Welcome to Healthy Leads, the one-stop podcast that bridges the gap between small to mid-sized businesses and digital marketing in this interconnected age of the internet and artificial intelligence. If you are looking to increase your online lead flow and close deals, or just someone interested in the fusion of business growth and digital marketing, this podcast is your avenue for success. Now, let's get to our hosts, Ryan Atkinson and Angel Ty LeBron.
Welcome, everyone, to the Healthy Leads podcast brought to you by Ellington Digital. Leads, and more leads. It's all people talk about nowadays, but it's important to incorporate AI into your lead generation strategy in some shape, way, or form. And we're excited to talk to you how you can do that today. And we're also going to talk to you more about how businesses are using AI to give you some inspiration as well. So, Angel, welcome back. Super excited to be co-hosting with you today. I'm excited to talk to you all about your strategy with AI and lead generation.
100%, man. Glad to be here too.
We chopped it up last week. That was a really fun episode. I love the back and forth on that, just talking about SEO. And another key component to any strategy is lead generation, as I said. And we talked a little bit last week just about like your LinkedIn strategy. Can you kind of just give us like a high level overview again of what you do or how you're incorporating AI within like your LinkedIn strategy for lead gen?
Yeah. So I use like a certain program, right? Like I have a bunch of softwares that a lot of people use, different softwares that, we'll get messages on LinkedIn and we'll see that, oh, this is probably like a robot. So there's an automated message that nobody really likes. So one cool thing that I've been seeing and that I was like, I didn't even know this was possible until recently, is using ChatGPT to actually send out connection request messages so that it's not so robotic and it feels like it's just sent out to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I've been testing is there's a program called Phantom Buster, I think is the whole entire name of it. And basically what you're able to do is you're able to analyze the entire profile, right? It'll analyze the entire profile, and then you're able to use a ChatGPT prompt to then customize the initial connection request message. So I can literally make a certain type of, AI type of comment about the experience or about their about section or their most recent post, their featured posts, whatever it may be. It gives it a lot more of a personalized touch. So that's one like specific way that I've been using AI in my workflow. And then I just basically send out those messages. And then once somebody answers, or if I get the actual connection request accepted, I go in and then I'll manually answer, because then it's at that point, I kind of want to give the real human eye to it at that point. So yeah, that's basically like the high level overview of the workflow I've been doing.
Yeah. And everyone that's like listening right now, like LinkedIn can be so cringy, and every time you get an automated message from somebody, you always can sniff it out within 20 seconds that thing was just an automated message with no personalization. I remember a time when I was working at HubSpot as a BDR, that was always like a money way to connect with someone and I actually strike up a conversation, was personalizing a message through LinkedIn. And it sounds like this tool allows you to do that at scale, essentially, where you don't have to manually do that every single time.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, were you more so were you sending out those messages by hand, or were you, because I know there's a bunch of softwares and stuff where, like I said, you can send it out automatically, but you just lose all that personalization.
Yeah, it's funny. It was all by hand. And you would think a company that has a crazy valuation, billion-dollar company, we would be able to have a tool for that. But they did not have a tool for that. So I was doing that all by hand. But I know there's LinkedIn Helper out there. There's a bunch of tools out there. But can you talk to us a little bit more about Phantom Buster? So it's able to scrape the profile and then basically write a personalization message. So the connection request is higher.
I mean, the cool thing about Phantom Buster is it has a lot of features. So not only is it it's not just limited to LinkedIn. It also has integrations for Instagram. I think it had another one for Twitter, email.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Like the main purpose that I got it for was because you have the ability to scrape. So I know like on LinkedIn, I know there's other tools where you can scrape it, but I was like on LinkedIn, I can go to a post, right? So let's say I know in my demographic, or, we're looking for similar senior living facilities, right? And I know that there's another senior living facility that gets a lot of, they have a lot of followers on the company page.
Yep.
They post a lot. They get a lot of interactions, comments, engagements. I want that for, the company that I'm working for. So I can go to that profile and I can actually extract all the people that have engaged with that post and send those people a customized connection request.
Wow.
You see, so I already know that those people are the ones that interact with the type of post that I'm going to post. So I'm going to grab them and send the connection request to them and then at that point, I could then mention the fact that, hey, saw we were both following XYZ page or saw that we both interacted with XYZ page, thought I'll shoot over a connection request. So if you get a message like that, it's like, oh yeah, I did interact with that post. Like this person took the time to actually look, and that right there could probably generate a good above 50% acceptance rate for a connection request.
Yeah, and that's also, like, important because, like, sometimes I've gotten those messages a few times, and it's always like, like, this is probably automated, but it's better than saying, "Hey, I see you're a founder at XYZ.
Yeah.
Would you wanna connect?" And so it's that
Yeah.
little touch point. I just did a quick search to how many touch points before a sale in 2023. Just a quick what would be a guess? And listeners take a guess as well. What would be, like, a guess?
I've heard the standard is 7,
Yeah.
but in my personal opinion, I think it's a lot more than 7. Especially nowadays, I feel like it's probably along the lines of 32 or something like that. But I've always heard the commission, 7 touch points before a sale, purchase, or whatever it may be. But I'm gonna go with 32.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a round of applause because apparently to Veskit Group, they're saying that it's 8 touch points before you get a sale. But the generative AI at Google is saying the average consumer journey now involves 20 to 500 plus touch points. So
Somewhere in there.
yeah, so it's a big range there, but that's the importance of doing a LinkedIn strategy. And so if someone's thinking, well, shoot, all I do is send emails. What's another way to connect with people? It is through LinkedIn with a strategy like that.
Yeah, and that's even cool too because I know one thing that I'm gonna start even implementing that I learned about was I was like, man, like you can only send out so many connection requests per day,
Mhm.
right? Before LinkedIn, like there's only, I think the limit is 100 a week. So that limit, I was like, oh, was there another way to, get people to connect with me? And my thought process was, oh, instead of doing it just on LinkedIn, I could just send out an email. And that's why I wanted the scraper tool. So I could
Yep.
just send out an email, like connection request. And LinkedIn does it for you. But what I didn't like about the way that LinkedIn does it is that they just say, hey, this person wants to connect with you. And it's just
Mhm.
like, oh, I don't get to add any type of personalization message
Yep.
because every connection request that I send, I'm going to send a personalized message. So I saw that and I was like, I don't want to do that. So I could just send out manual emails on top
Yeah.
of the connection request that I send. So I could even send a follow up and like, hey, I do, I have this and this and this. Have some
Yeah.
type of follow up message that, I think we touched on last time. Don't just send the hey, just wanted to send a follow up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was
Don't
like,
hey, don't send a follow-up. That's the worst thing you could say.
yeah, like actually including some type of benefit, like, oh, I do this,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
hey, I one day extend you this article, or I created this lead magnet, whatever you want to be for a follow up. So yeah, you can also follow up on email. If Phantom Bust, you can scrape the emails and just send a follow up, or you can just send an email and then go over to LinkedIn and then send a connection request.
Yeah, and that's an amazing way. Another way, this isn't using AI, but I'll let people know a lead gen strategy we use at HubSpot is we would send voice notes to people. So if you're wanting to get manual with that, I know we are just talking about automating like at scale, but if you are wanting to
Mm.
get manual with it, it's always a nice little voice note. That's a one way to really get people off their guard is to send a voice
Yeah.
note, voice note through LinkedIn. So I would
I've
highly recommend.
gotten one. I got one. The first time I got one, I was like blown away. I was like, this is the greatest strategy I've had. I didn't even think of it. And it was like a dude from like the UK. And he's like, hey mate, I just want to top in with
Hey,
you.
buddy.
So I'm like, he's like, I'm terrible at accents, but he was just like, he's like, hey, just want to tap in with you. I saw that, blah, blah, blah. But and the funny thing was, I don't normally like the immediate pitch
Yeah.
approach. But even though he did it as a pitch, he was like, "Hey, I do have something to sell you, but I don't want to, I'm not going to sell to you if you don't want
Yeah.
to. So if it makes sense, let's hop on a call." And even though I was like, "Man, I don't even like being pitched," it was like number one, probably the action, and then number two was like the fact that it was a voice note where I was like, "Man, like I would hop on a call with this dude if I actually needed the services." So I thought that was pretty cool. Those voice notes are if there's some software that eventually you're able to send that out in scale, that would be that's gonna be a game changer. Matter of fact, I should probably write that down for another business idea.
I was just gonna say we might have just thought of a business idea where you use some sort of AI voiceover and incorporate those together. That's not a bad idea.
You're
Uh,
right.
And then also the other takeaway is if you are trying to get into people's LinkedIn CMs through voice note, make sure it's a British accent because it'll work. Um, but I do want to talk about ChatGPT and how people are using it within like their sales process. And we're going to talk on a really cool Forbes article that you found a little bit later in the show. But one stat really stood out to me, two stats actually. 97% of business owners believe ChatGPT will help their businesses, and 1/3 plan to use ChatGPT to write website content. I'll give one usage case on how I'm using ChatGPT just to spark some interest for people, and we'll have you share as well. One way that I've been using it is with sales copy. It's saying, okay, I want to rewrite this email in an enthusiastic tone or a more persuasive tone or create a better CTA on this sales email. So just copy and paste it over, say, hey, ChatGPT, I want to make a better CTA. Can you do this for me? And you can write sequences at scale with this as well. If you don't want to spend 20 minutes to put together a sequence, you can just simply say, hey, write one sales email about XYZ, write another follow-up about XYZ, and go on and on and on. But with that, what is one way that you have used ChatGPT to spark some ideas for the people listening?
Yeah. So I think we touched on my strategy a while back ago. For me, I honestly think that like having a brand to any type of company is going to set you wide apart from anyone.
Yeah.
And it even helps you with your SEO. It helps you with your paid media strategy because people can then look you up and see, oh, they have a social presence. So the biggest way that I like to use it is using like social content. And
Mm,
however, a lot of people they're gonna smell that chat GPT in
yep.
that post. So you need to be very, 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 I would say this. So like with your prompts, there's gonna be the prompts where you could just, throw up a prompt and just say, hey, write me this. And it might just give you something generic that you can smell that. And you're just gonna start smelling that chat GPT. So like, a lot of people are gonna smell it. So last time I think I touched on like my strategy, which is having those templates and having a saved file where I have all those templates, have all those examples of what I want, what I've done before, what has worked, what hasn't worked, giving
Yeah.
ChatGPT the data it needs to create content that's as original as possible. And you can even give it information from outside articles. Like you can feed it information from outside articles and it'll still rewrite it in a way that makes sense, isn't robotic sounding, isn't, you know, chat GPT ish. Like
Yeah.
I think is the term. I'm just gonna go with chat GPT
ChatGPT.
ish. Yeah. So like you can do it in a way that's like that. And then altering the prompt to where you're saying, hey, write it in this writing style.
Yeah.
Don't include this information, include this information, and making it as customized as possible so that it actually produces a genuine type of post. But yeah, I mean, the biggest way that I've been doing it is for social media content. And then a little
Mm.
bit, definitely for ad copy as well.
Yeah, that the note that you made last week about, hey, write this in as if J.K. Rowling wrote this,
Yeah,
just for a
exactly.
complete example. I think that like actually spoke so true to me because anyone, like you said, can sniff out a Chat GPT social media post, and so it is putting a little bit of flavor on that. And I'll also add to that one area we might have talked about this as well, but one area that when I am doing this sales copy like sequences, I always will write like the persona. Hey, I'm targeting a financial analyst at a software as a service company with a company of 200 to 500 employees. I don't know what happens behind the algorithm, but just being way more specific has made it a better copy. So if you are listening to this and you're wanting to write, say, if you're wanting ChatGPT to write it, make it specific, make it, you know, financial analyst, job title, company size, industry, what they might care about, and it'll get way more specific. And you can do that for social media as well.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know what it is too. It's just like the more specific you can get in your
Hmm.
prompt, you're always just gonna get a better response. And I think that just goes to the principle of what AI really is. You give it
Yeah.
data and it's able to make decisions based on that data. So like the more data you give it, the better a decision it's going to make, the closer it's going to get to that, a higher statistical relevance to what you gave it.
Yeah. And can we talked about it before the show, and then we're going to talk about it right now, the difference between AI and automation. Can you just read this little snippet that you found from this Forbes article? Love this little snippet because there is a big difference and people should just be a little bit more aware of what is that difference between AI and automation.
Yes. So automation is typically typically rule based and follows a predetermined instruction, right? And while AI can learn from data and make decisions based on that data. So in other words, automation software operates on a set of predefined rules, while AI can make predictions and decisions based on the data it's presented with. So that right there, like, I know how much we usually get confused with, oh, is automation AI? And
Yeah.
it's like, no, like automation software is going based off of rules. It's going based off of what you tell us to do, predetermined, which is similar. You could you can get that confused with AI,
Mhm.
but with AI, you can give it data and it's going to make a decision based on that data. So you can, like I said, for the example with LinkedIn, like there's LinkedIn automation software, which will send out the messages on your behalf. But the AI aspect is being able to take that profile, analyze it, see that they've been working at a company for 5 years, and then insert that 5 year
Yep.
company and how long you've been working there into the message because it learned based on the data that you gave it.
Yeah. And I want to make that specific like distinction for that because I do want to talk about this Forbes article as business owners, you're wondering, okay, what is AI and how can I actually use AI? There's a difference between AI and automation. Let's just get that very straight. And Angel, you just hit on it there. But this Forbes article, this will also be linked below. You found this awesome article. And one thing that I think is really cool, the top ways business owners are using artificial intelligence. Number one, customer service at 56%.
No.
Who knew? And that's one thing that I love about AI is you can use it for chat bots essentially. I think that's how I'm imagining most businesses are using it is inserting some sort of chat bot to say, pop on the website, the chat bot comes up. Are you want to talk to sales? Do you need help? What are you looking for? And that is one way to really help with your customer service initiatives. If you are wanting to have better customer service, and everyone should be wanting to have better customer service.
Have you gotten recently? I saw on LinkedIn, there's actually some guy posted, it was a customer representative service. It was like a customer representative call type of thing, like quality
Interesting.
insurance or something like that. And it was literally the person on the phone was the AI. Like, so
Huh.
it literally was like, hey, how did you enjoy this? It sounded so real was the craziest part. Like, you know how you
Oh
can tell
man.
like a robot it sounds like a robot's chopped up. There's something
Yeah,
wrong
yeah.
with the English that we can be like, this is not a real human. It sounded so human, and it was literally just asking questions about their service. It was asking follow-up questions.
Oh
Literally,
my
the
God.
person would answer in like a way different way, and it would tailor its response to, oh, it would repeat back what the person said, acknowledge it,
Yeah.
relate to it in some way. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Well, and then it'll ask a follow-up question just to get even more information on the service. And I was like, man, like now they don't even need people. Like, cause I mean, how many times have we called up a business and we're like on hold for
Oh, it's
an
the worst.
hour? And man, I just wanted to get my question answered. And
Ye
now you can have a chatbot feed it all the information on those articles that companies love to send us to the website. Oh, did you check this article? And it's like, no, I want to speak to someone, get my answer immediate. Now you can feed the AI program all your articles and all your help support
Yep.
documents, and it'll be able to repeat that based on what the person says on the phone. So that will eliminate waiting time. Completely eliminate it if it works out at a massive scale.
Yeah, and one company that I know could use this is Delta. I don't know if you've ever tried to get Delta representative, but it is brutal. And that's what I think is so cool about the customer service essentially, is that, like, you are able to if you have an amazing voiceover like that, you can even have it through the phone, but even on a website, I mean, specific tools, you could probably invest in a $500 chatbot all the way up to 5 grand plus a chatbot.
Mhm.
And so if you're a business owner thinking about this, it's really thinking, am I struggling with customer service? And two, you can even use this as a lead gen tool where it's, hey, thanks for visiting our website. Chat bubble pops up. Thanks for visiting our website. What are you looking for today? What are some of the problems you're having today? And basically be like, well, you should contact sales. And
Mhm.
so it's just a way more human approach to a website. And I think it brings it to life a lot more. And I think using it as customer service and lead gen is a perfect way to use a chatbot service.
Yeah, I remember the days when those chatbots were like terrible though.
Seriously, they used to be terrible, but now they're great.
Yeah. I was like, I just remember like way, way before it was, dang, like I can't even get like an actual response. But definitely nowadays, I find myself using the chatbots way more than having to, email them, then wait for the email. Or if I'm outside of business hours, I can not yet like you have to email them. And if I have to call, then I'm on the waiting line. So yeah, like I find myself using those chatbots a lot more.
It's awesome. And one of these stats from here, is saying more over 61% of companies use AI to optimize emails. We talked about that. While 55% deploy AI for personalized services such as product recommendations. And I think that is so cool because you're able to tailor specific products to customers that come on your website saying, hey, I don't really know what I want, but like I want something. And the
Mm,
chatbot's able to really funnel that down to, hey, this would be perfect for what you're looking for. And that just enhances the customer experience when they do land on your website and like really build up that brand loyalty, is because everyone's looking for a good experience when they come to your website, when they come to your store, when they visit you. And being able to use a chatbot in that sense, I think is such a powerful and cool way.
You know who uses that kind of, not the chatbot aspect, but the product recommendation aspect the most?
Mm.
Take a wild guess.
Oh, I like the guesses.
I'll give you a
Yeah.
hint. It's one of
It,
the
it,
biggest e-commerce suppliers.
okay, I was just gonna say, I was just, does Amazon?
Yeah.
No
So it's
way.
like,
Oh,
yeah. So think about it. Like whenever we're browsing, right? How
yeah.
many times do you see at the bottom, it always has, hey, people that bought this similarly purchased
Mm,
this. That's literally just that upsell. I mean, how many times have we heard the example of, would you like some fries with that?
yeah.
You know, just asking the person if they want some fries, just, maybe I do want some fries. You know, it's
Yeah, yeah,
just making that suggestion in that product recommendation. That person is just more likely to increase their average order value. That right
yeah.
there is like, instead of having if you sell any medical devices, instead of having, a $200 average order value, now let's say that person buys a complimentary product to it just because you put it in front of them,
Yeah.
you recommended it. Hey, people that bought this similarly buy this. Now you just increase your average order value. It could be 500. We all know how expensive medical devices can get.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. There's ways that you can really get creative with it. And yeah, that now that you say the Amazon one, I definitely remember that one. There's a coffee shop that I go to back in Iowa. Every time you go up, oh, before you even order, oh, dude, would you like a blueberry muffin or try like our blueberry muffins today? And is that upsell? And like you said, if a medical device company is selling something for $200 and you add $15 onto an order just with a complimentary product at scale, that's a huge difference. And you need to be using a chat or some sort of AI to also recommend that. So that's an amazing example.
100%.
And another one that I really like here is text messaging. What's your thoughts on text messaging first? Do you like when you get text messages from brands or not?
Yeah, it depends. It depends a
Okay.
lot. Number one, it needs to be a brand that I actually like. So it needs to be
Mm,
something that I actually subscribe to. So like
yeah.
I voluntarily gave them my phone number and clicked the chat box and said, hey, shoot me a text message, right? I don't like the ones that just bombard you every single day, like
Yeah.
even multiple times a week. I don't want to be bombarded with your messages on my phone, particularly like an SMS. So I think if they're very strategic with it, like I haven't even personally ran an SMS campaign yet. And because a lot of them, I remember cold ones are, for example, I think illegal. So you can't
Yeah.
even send it out to cold. So it's like the people that actually subscribe, it's okay. What do I give them? You can talk about, percentages off, your recent offers and stuff like that. I
Yep.
just think it gets into a fine line where some people finding annoying. Like me personally, sometimes I just find it annoying. Like I want to see some type of value, more value. There has to be a lot of value that you're giving me if I'm going to allow you to just keep sending me text messages, basically.
Literally. And I think using AI to personalize those text messages will go a long ways because people are very protective of their phones. It's a lot different than an email where it's like, oh, like that can just kind of disappear. No, a text message is on your phone. Like that notification is staying there. And if you can personalize it
Mm,
with AI, there is a really good opportunity to build like a customer loyalty. And one stat from this that we want to talk about as we wrap up this episode is nearly 2/3, 64% of business owners believe AI will improve customer relationships. So there's a huge opportunity here to use AI to improve your customer relationships and to generate leads. It's basically a double-edged sword in the best ways possible.
100%. One example too, I don't know if you've ever experienced this. If you have an appointment for anything, do you ever get like any of the SMS messages
Yep,
sometimes?
yep, yep.
Yeah. So I remember one time I was going to in Phoenix, there's a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu gym. And
That's cool.
I'm a marketer, so I'm always paying attention to
Of
every
course.
little marketing piece that I
Yep.
get, right? So, so I remember I signed up for a free trial, right? And I was like, dang, I don't really feel like going today. I was
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
want to enjoy my trip out in Phoenix. And oh my goodness, man. I've never received such a good sequence of messages. And I'm almost like 90% sure it was all automated because based on my response, I was like, even though it seems like a little bit automation, like some type of
Yeah.
AI, I was like, I don't even care. This is just an amazing experience because all right. So I signed up. I got one message that said, "Hey, thanks for signing up. Susie's going to be in touch with you. She's going to make sure that you get everything, sorted out. As soon as you walk in, here's the instructions." Right. So like
Yeah.
that message was one I signed up for. And I was like, I love this. I don't got to go into the gym and figure out, oh, do I put my shoes in the cubby over here?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I'll go do that over here. Then it came up with another follow-up message and was like, "Hey, super excited to see you in 2 days. Here's the
Yep.
time. Just wanted to make sure you're locked in." And then another one, which
That's
was the
awesome.
funniest one, was there's like a window, right? And there was a picture of the guy peeking out of the window. And he was like, "We are so eager to see you."
That's
He was like, "We
awesome.
are so eager to see you that we're outside waiting for you to just come at 2 p.m. today. And make sure
Yeah,
just you're
that's
locked in, a
awesome.
reminder." Yeah, so it was like a whole follow-up sequence, and I was like, I like this follow-up sequence when it comes to AI, and if you're doing, especially if you're doing the SMS, even email. I mean, any type of those follow-up sequence for any type of appointment, I
Yeah.
think is really it really creates the bond with the customer and making sure they're going to show up.
For sure. And appointment no-shows are so expensive for companies because basically that's whatever, $300 like loss right there because someone didn't show up. And so healthcare companies can incorporate that as well. I know a lot of healthcare companies are doing like those SMS reminders. They're not throwing memes in there, but they are doing like the SMS reminders, and it helps with patient no-shows. And that's something that any business can really incorporate is if you have appointments, definitely make sure that you're sending an SMS text message
Yeah.
beforehand.
Maybe they should start incorporating some memes, like stand out from the crowd.
I love that. Well, this was everything farthest away from you worthy. A ton of great tadbits in here, talking a little bit more about how AI is used in lead generation, breaking down this Forbes article a little bit more about chatbots, customer relationships, and how AI can help that. So thank you everyone for tuning in to today's episode. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, or whatever you get your podcasts. Angel, any last words for everyone?
No, I just appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate, the time that you took with me today, Ryan. So definitely had fun.
Perfect. Well, we will see everyone next week.
Awesome. Peace, guys.